4-player battle is an expanded and vastly improved version of Pikmin 2's 2-player battle mode. The mod adds many adjustable settings, allows up to 4 people to play at once, and in its tournament mode balances the game, making it more fair and skill-based compared to the base game. In this video I'll be giving you an overview of a 1 vs 1 with tournament mode turned on. In-depth explanations of specific tactics, cherry usage, and more will come in other videos. Let's start with understanding the various elements at play in around the 4-player battle, starting with win conditions. The most common of these is collecting 4 out of the 7 yellow marbles which are scattered throughout the map. The other win conditions are collecting the opponent's marble, which is located beneath their onion, the opponent captain getting downed by taking too much damage, the opponent getting Pikmin extinction by losing all their Pikmin, and the timer running out, which results in the player with the most yellow marbles collected winning, or a draw if the number of yellow marbles collected are the same on both sides. I highly recommend you focus on the collect 4 yellow marbles win condition, and only shift this focus to another win condition opportunistically. The Pikmin type you select is mostly just an aesthetic choice. All Pikmin types are identical in terms of speed, attack damage, and so on. The only mechanical difference between them is their elemental resistance. Reds, blues, and whites retain their respective resistances from the base game, while the Puffmin are immune to a new element called spores, which looks like a light purple mist. Also, you can find the Bulbmin on certain maps, and these guys are immune to all elements. When enemy Pikmin are close enough together, they will automatically fight each other. Pikmin killed in this way are respawned at their onion as seedlings. When Pikmin fight each other, they cancel each other out. So if 10 of your Pikmin were to fight 10 of your opponents, then 0 Pikmin will be left over. But if 11 of your Pikmin fight 10 of the opponents, then 1 of yours will survive. Another important element of the game are the 2 types of sprays available to you. Using the spicy spray will buff all of the Pikmin currently in your party, speeding up a lot of their actions, increasing their damage output, and making them more effective at killing the opponent's Pikmin. Specifically, 1 spicy Pikmin will take out 2 normal Pikmin in a fight. This is because a spicy Pikmin will always kill a normal Pikmin, which causes it to lose its spicy buff, and then it behaves normally. By the way, Bulbmin function under all the same rules regarding fighting, except that they don't respawn an onion when killed. When used skillfully, the spicy spray is supremely powerful. Try to get the most out of it by using it on a large number of Pikmin rather than just a few, and splitting your spicied squad so that your opponent cannot easily counter your play. Using a bitter spray will create a huge hitbox around your captain. Any enemies within this hitbox will be stunned for 10 seconds, and any of the opponent's Pikmin within this hitbox will be temporarily buried as sprouts for a similar length of time, removing any flowers or spicy buffs that those Pikmin may have had. I highly recommend that beginners only use a bitter spray to counter their opponent's spicy spray. Wasting a bitter by using it on only enemies or unspicy Pikmin will give your opponent a spray advantage. With that said, there are some other great ways to use a bitter, but I'll go over cases like that in a separate video that is solely dedicated to the strategy around spray usage. Collecting a cherry will roll the cherry roulette for you, giving you a single use of whichever cherry bonus you land on. These bonuses are very varied in effect, and are used to either hinder your opponent or help you. Cherries are not spawned immediately upon the start of a round, but instead spawn gradually over time in certain locations. The final gameplay element I want to discuss in this section are the maps themselves. The number of sprays players start with at the beginning of a round is dictated by the map. For example, on Rusted Ring, players always start with 1 spray of each kind, whereas on Submerged Skirmish, players always start with 2 spicy sprays and 3 bitter sprays. Also, there are multiple versions of each map, referred to as layouts. Knowing relevant information about each map, like where yellow marbles are in each layout, if there are any enemies with guaranteed drops, and so on, is going to give you a huge strategic advantage against players that do not know that information. At the very beginning of the game, your top priority should be growing Pikmin by using the resources in and around your base. To have a favorable opening, you should be faster than your opponent, or at least match their speed. You never want to waste time, so always try to be working towards some goal. Put as many of your Pikmin to work as you can, and pluck your sprouts while your Pikmin are hauling corpses. If you have a spare Pikmin or two, consider using them to collect any nearby cherries, which will use up some additional time, but could very well be worth it. With that said, don't overextend yourself by traveling great distances to get cherries, invading your opponent's base, or anything like that in this stage of the game. Doing so will allow your opponent to grow to 50 Pikmin, and pluck them all well before you, hurting you in the long term. Get into a back and forth cycle of collecting resources and plucking until you feel it's time to transition into a middle game strategy. Your goal in the middle game is to gain and maintain any advantages you can over your opponent, while also preventing your opponent from gaining any advantages over you. The most straightforward and common way to gain an advantage is to collect the middle marble, if there is one. In this layout of Warbox, you can see that there is very clearly a single marble that is equally as far from my onion as it is from my opponent's, while the other 6 are divided evenly between my side of the map and the opponent's. In a layout like this, if I were to collect the middle marble, then the 3 marbles that are easiest for me to collect are all on my side of the map, while my opponent will need to collect at least 1 marble from my side in order to have 4. We'll call this disparity a proximity advantage in my favor. Not all layouts have such a distinct middle marble, so this does not apply word for word to every map, but what does universally apply is the principle of collecting marbles near the center first and keeping the closest marbles for last. A proximity advantage is very strong, but there are multiple other advantages to consider. A Pikmin advantage is having more total Pikmin, making it possible to overpower your opponent's squad and allowing more multitasking. This is one of the strongest advantages. A spray advantage is having more sprays than your opponent. This is another significantly powerful advantage. A marble advantage is when you have collected more yellow marbles than your opponent. This is by far the weakest of the advantages. Obtain one or more of these advantages through any means necessary. Get your opponent's Pikmin killed, slow down their growth phase, create distractions for them, and so on. There's a lot of room for creativity in this stage of the game. Similar to the opening, try not to overextend yourself by lingering in mid too long. Your squad size will dwindle in comparison to your opponent's, making it easy for them to overpower you. On that note, always watch what your opponent is doing by looking at their screen. This will allow you to better understand their strategy and see any mistakes they make. You should shift to an endgame strategy when one player is working on collecting a winning marble. If you're about to win, then follow through and keep your momentum. Don't let your guard down in this critical stage. If you're about to lose, you need to find a way to achieve a win condition before your opponent, or strategically stall for a draw if possible. Don't forget that a draw is always better than a loss. To summarize, your basic game plan should be: get your Pikmin count to 50 before your opponent does the same, capture enough yellow marbles from mid to give yourself a proximity advantage, then collect the marbles closest to your base to win. As mentioned earlier, you should focus on the collect 4 yellow marbles win condition, because that is the easiest one to achieve in most cases. Base rushing your opponent to steal their base marble can be effective when you have a significant strength advantage, like being upper spray or having a lot more Pikmin. It would also help if your opponent is distracted, or if your opponent cannot contest you because they are too far away or their Pikmin are too scattered around the map. Forcing your opponent to get Captain down or Pikmin extinction is even less common and harder to pull off, but it is most viable on maps with lots of bomb rocks. Remember to have fun with your strategies. Feel free to experiment, improvise while playing, and learn from watching other players. More guide videos like this will be coming soon. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. If you want to join the Discord server that hosts Pikmin competitions like this, I've left the link for that in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.